The work of Ottawa Public Health includes a team that focuses on harm reduction, and that is a team that absolutely, they have excellent expertise in meeting people where they're at. You can't say you can only come to this health service if you do this better or that better. We absolutely need to be accessible, and it's something we're looking at. How do we take that expertise that we have in harm reduction and spread that philosophy through other healthcare settings? I'm Dr. Vera Etches with Ottawa Public Health, and Stigma Ends With Us.
Indigenous people are all drunks. And that's not true. Intergenerational trauma because of the residential schools. A lot of these people go into substance abuse because the pain, the mental anguish of what happened to them or what happened to their parents.
I think that often people aren't aware of actually stigmatizing people. I see people who have called out people who are struggling and are at the lowest point in their lives. They've called them bums, they've called them addicts, they've called them junkies, they've called them crazy, they've called them lazy, and even in one case, zoo animals. So if you can imagine a young girl who has fled her home at the age of 12 because she's been abused since she's been 4 years old. She goes out on the streets with no skill sets to get a job, not even being old enough to support herself, no family support, and then gets taken advantage of by others. Or somebody who has been in a horrific accident and experienced a brain injury and falls through the healthcare system and becomes addicted to their pain medication. People who have experienced family breakdowns. Those are people who come to us for assistance every day. And then when I see people who are judging them and saying, just pull up your bootstraps, get a job, bothers me every day. I see it every day, and I think it's up to us to put a stop to that, especially those of us who are in privileged positions. We need to start understanding where people are coming from, the trauma that they're experiencing, and actually feeling empathy and kindness and compassion rather than judgment. So the stigma has to end with us.
Hi, my name's Mike McLennan. I'm here to support Stigma Ends With Me. In my own life, I've had my own stigma has kept me from recovery, and a lot of my friends who are actively using have never found treatment because they're worried about stigma from their family members and their colleagues. So I'm here to support Stigma Ends With Me.
Stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
Je mets fin à la stigmatisation.
Stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
The stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
La stigmatisation s'arrête à moi.
Hashtag stigma ends with me.
Hi, I'm William. I'm a person, and I would like you to join me in Person First Language. When we use Person First Language, we reduce stigma, and when we reduce stigma, we create opportunities for well-being.
If you really cared about anyone but yourself, you'd stop being a useless addict.
You promised you'd never do that again. Stop saying it'll be different this time. It never is. You're just a loser.
You're so stupid. How are you going to pay the bills? What are you going to do? Do you give a crap about anything?
You're a waste of breath. Don't tell me you care. There's no proof. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
I can't stand the sight of you.
If you think that name calling and shaming us is going to help,
we want you to know.
We've tried that already. It doesn't work.
The day my life changed, I met someone who said they knew I cared. But maybe I just needed to learn how to change, not how to care.
I always remember the feeling of being understood for the first time. Acceptance.
Once I realized that my brain had been hijacked and I wasn't thinking straight, I started working and changing the way that my mind works. It wasn't long before my life changed as well.
I'm still struggling. I now see that the me in me is doing the best to change my life. Not giving up and doing my best today, even though people don't always understand. It's better because now more people talk to me like a person. That's good. It helps, because I am one.
Hi, I'm Gord Garner from CAPS.
Language is a powerful tool in helping people with substance use disorders. Please choose person-first language. Speak about the person. Help reduce the suffering. You can make a difference here in Canada for your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community. For more information on how to use person-first language, go to our website, www.capsa.ca/resources. I want to say thanks in advance. I know that you want to make a difference.
I believe I'm on my way to wellness. Then, some days I find that somehow I'm heading in the wrong direction again, even though I've been doing my best to reroute my brain to have different responses to stress in my life. Having a substance use disorder was never a conscious choice I made. They tell me it could be the result of trauma or genetics or something else. All I know is that I struggle to stop taking substances despite the negative consequences. Of course, I want to have a better life, but I don't know how long it will take me to get there, or exactly what it will look like. I'm just finding out some of the challenges I have. I know that some people make changes faster than others, and that each person's wellness looks different. Some people seem to get to their wellness place and stay there. Others come and go as their life unfolds. Me, I keep hitting roadblocks on my way there. Sometimes I head in the completely wrong direction and need a full U-turn. Many people have stopped helping me when I do. If only they remembered that addiction is a medical condition that affects my brain and decision-making. And if only I remembered, I could hold a steadier path. That's one of the challenges I face. I want to reach my place of wellness as much as they want me to get there. I know that life there will be less unpredictable for me and for them, but telling me that I have to get there by a certain time or by a certain route doesn't help. Imposing a deadline for arrival doesn't mean I'll meet it. It just gives people a false sense of control and makes me wonder why they have criteria for showing compassion to a person with a medical condition. I don't tell anyone who is ill what time they should get well by. I just hope they do and try to help them however they need help now. I've seen people stopping to help drivers with a flat tire or an empty tank of gas. They stayed until help arrived to be sure the driver was safe and could get back on the road. There was no judgment or disappointment about driving over a nail or running out of gas. I wish people would do the same for me when I hit bumps that slow me down or lose steam along the way. I wish people understood that finding my pathway to wellness will take me a lot longer if I'm walking alone.
So many of us are walking alone in our grief over losing someone to substance use. Blinded by sorrow and silenced by stigma, it's hard to find others who understand our pain. We don't talk about our loss as much as we would like, because we can't. People view death differently when it's a result of substance use disorder. There is still so much stigma. If only people knew that substance use disorder is a health condition and that addiction is not a choice, they might have more compassion for us, the grieving, and for the 60,000 people we lose to substance use each year. Each death represents 7 grieving family members, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. We are nearly 500,000 Canadians looking for answers and meaningful action to prevent more deaths. So let's walk together in compassion to honor those we've lost, to help end so much needless suffering, and increase wellness for all. We know we can do better. Let's do better together.
If you really cared about anyone but yourself, you'd stop being a useless addict.
You promised you'd never do that again. Stop saying it'll be different this time. It never is. You're just a loser.
You're so stupid. How are you going to pay the bills? What are you going to do? Do you give a crap about anything?
You're a waste of breath. Don't tell me you care. There's no proof. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you!
I can't stand the sight of you.
If you think that name calling and shaming us is going to help,
we want you to know.
We've tried that already. It doesn't work.
The day my life changed, I met someone who said they knew I cared. But maybe I just needed to learn how to change, not how to care.
I always remember the feeling of being understood for the first time. Acceptance.
Once I realized that my brain had been hijacked and I wasn't thinking straight, I started working and changing the way that my mind works. It wasn't long before my life changed as well.
I'm still struggling. I now see that the me in me is doing the best to change my life. Not giving up and doing my best today, even though people don't always understand. It's better because now more people talk to me like a person. That's good. It helps, because I am one.
Hi, I'm Gord Carter from CAPS. Language is a powerful tool in helping people with substance use disorders. Please choose person-first language, speak about the person, help reduce the suffering. You can make a difference here in Canada for your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community. For more information on how to use person-first language, go to our website, www.capsa.ca/resources. I want to say thanks in advance. I know that you want to make a difference.
When I first got into recovery, had there been less stigma, I may have gotten assistance with my substance use disorder sooner. When I've had friends diagnosed with stage 1 cancer, they were never told to come back when they had stage 4 cancer. I wish and I hope and I'm working towards helping to reduce that stigma so that those who are suffering can get the help that they need sooner.
It's really a tragedy when we see young people in particular internalize stigma to the point that it becomes deeply held shame, and shame that really holds them back from being able to attain wellness and recovery. I've dedicated my career to helping people who are suffering from substance use and mental health issues, and there are countless stories, and particularly those with youth. The thing that always strikes me is the sadness and the hopelessness that we encounter, but we know that recovery is possible because we witness it every day. And one of the ways in which we witness that is we see the hope back in people's eyes. They start dreaming again. They start seeing a future for themselves. And that's really powerful and very rewarding. Well, we all have a role to play, a really important role. I think in large part it starts with how we refer and talk to individuals who are suffering from substance use disorder, person first language, recognizing them as people first, and understanding that they didn't choose this. This isn't a moral failing. This isn't something they've asked for. And we don't have a right to impose judgment on them. We're there to help.
I'll never forget the time that I went with my daughter into the hospital, and she was right in the midst of a really tough situation of her life with her substance use disorder, but she's also struggling with some related mental health things, and I'll never going into the hospital, and the doctor said to her at the point that we can't help her with her mental health situation until we resolve her addiction. I thought, okay, so they're kind of tied together. How? This makes no sense. Like, it just makes no sense. So there's a stigma against somebody that has a little bit of both or a lot of both? Like, how is that? What if you had diabetes and you had cancer? Would somebody say, sort of fix your diabetes before we'll fix your cancer? Does that make sense? No. So there was a whole stigma attached to that too. It was huge, and it's just frustrating. So I've gotten active with it. I'm part of a group called Families for Addiction Recovery, and one of the things we're doing is advocating for better education in the professional community, and better, and in the process of that is reducing the stigma, because it's become a very empowering thing for me to get engaged, and we're making progress, but it's slow, and the barriers are still huge, and there's lots that has to be done.
Well, it was my own realization that I was stigmatizing several years ago when I was working as a detox director. We had a client brought in by the OPP. He'd been picked up on the side of the highway, and he was in really, really rough shape. His only prized possession was a bottle of rubbing alcohol. I was afraid of him, and so that was my way of stigmatizing him. And after he cleaned up, and I took the time to go in and speak to him to find out who he was, I learned so many things about him that really changed my perspective about people on their journey to recovery. He was a father, he'd been a teacher, he'd been married, he was recently separated, he had children, he was from Nova Scotia.
I'm a tour manager, sound engineer, and addictions recovery coach. I started an organization called Over the Bridge, and we are music industry, mental health, and recovery advocates. I've been involved in the music industry for 25 plus years. When you work in this industry, there's the party every night, and you can't really get caught up in it. Substance use is normalized and glamorized to the point where if someone decides not to partake in substance use, is that there's stigma on them as to like why not they're not participating. Like we were talking earlier, it's almost like reverse stigma. You know, in most cases, if you had any other job, the amount of substance consumption, people would be worried, right? But because we're sort of nomads. You know, we get to bounce from city to city to city, and no one sees the everyday use. They just see that one night, and everyone gets to participate in that experience with you. The most important thing you can do.
I believe I'm on my way to wellness. Then, some days I find that somehow I'm heading in the wrong direction again, even though I've been doing my best to reroute my brain to have different responses to stress in my life. Having a substance use disorder was never a conscious choice I made. They tell me it could be the result of trauma or genetics or something else. All I know is that I struggle to stop taking substances despite the negative consequences. Of course, I want to have a better life, but I don't know how long it will take me to get there, or exactly what it will look like. I'm just finding out some of the challenges I have. I know that some people make changes faster than others, and that each person's wellness looks different. Some people seem to get to their wellness place and stay there. Others come and go as their life unfolds. Me, I keep hitting roadblocks on my way there. Sometimes
Speakers who are going to be joining us now, who have some important words of wisdom to share, personal experiences, and it is beautiful. It is not too hot. It is just right. You'll get a little bit of a suntan. And you'll learn a lot too. So come on out of the tent for those of you who are having a chance to speak with some of our community partners and sponsors, and have a seat. And meanwhile, I'll get things underway. So welcome, bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, kwekwe. It is just great to be here, and a warm welcome to all of you to the WOW Festival. Of course, that stands for Working on Wellness. We gather here today with humility and respect, and of course we gather on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. This festival, as many of you know, is bringing together substance use health, mental health, and physical health communities to support the wellness of people across Canada. I am so proud, and you know what, frankly, I'm humbled to be here with all of you again. My name is Catherine Clark, and I had a chance to be with you pre-COVID when gatherings were entirely normal. And now here we are once again post-COVID, where gatherings are becoming normal again in whatever way you feel comfortable. But I'm partly here because of a guy named Gord Garner, who I really admire. Gord, of course, is with the Community Addictions Peer Support Association, which is more commonly known as CAPSA. And I'm also here because of the courage and the tenacity and the energy and the innovation which so many of you show day in and day out, either on your own personal journeys or as organizations which are supporting people on their personal journeys. Every single time I'm here at this event, I have an opportunity to interact with one person, multiple people who share their stories with me, and they're incredible stories of courage and resilience, and they're humbling. And I just can't imagine any place I would rather be today than here with all of you. So this event, of course, has been made possible through the support of our sponsors and community partners, as well as Health Canada. I encourage you to take a look around. You're going to see signage throughout this festival. Take a look around. Give a special note of thanks in your head to the people who are so important to making this happen. And that there was Gord giving a whoop for the sponsors and community partners. Yes, thank you very much to them. Et maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, et tout le monde, sans plus tarder, je suis ravie de vous présenter notre premier invité de marque. Let's get our event started off on the right foot. It is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, our knowledge keeper, Sheldon McGregor, who is going to help us open our event today. And I'm going to call Sheldon right up to the stage now to get things underway. So Sheldon, we'll turn things over to you.
So let me adjust the microphone. So, hello everybody, bonjour tout le monde, Kwe. I'd like to welcome you all to the Algonquin territory. And here in Ottawa, funny enough, there's Ottawa in Algonquin comes from Odawong, which means a convergence of rivers. And in the old traditional way of doing things, people used to do gatherings at the convergence of rivers, either different families or different First Nations groups. So it's funny today how even though Ottawa has become very colonial, Ottawa is now a huge gathering place for government and for events like this today. So I wanted to just start off. Again, I think the wellness, the discussion of wellness is an extremely important one. Having worked as a frontline worker as well as working for the band for almost 5 years, you see a lot of things with mental wellness and well-being. And I think this is just a sign I got to bring it up. But I'm not loud enough. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So again, I think it's really important because we need to, with wellness and mental health, is it's also recognizing it before, as it develops and as it becomes a problem. So with that, I'll get started with the Algonquin welcoming. Was something that was traditionally practiced in the Algonquin culture. We didn't impose our ceremonies in other places, and if we were traveling on territories outside of ours, and we also, so the welcoming would happen if a neighboring nation or group or even a family would come and do ceremony or a gathering on our territories. There would always be a representative of that as a form of diplomacy, just to give their blessing before everything started. So it's kind of funny how it's kind of evolved into me speaking onto a stage and not at the head of a family dinner. Also, there's usually food in that, so it's great. So I'll get started. It's done in the Algonquin language, and it's my first language. And it's not to be translated, usually to kind of push the younger ones to learn the language. We're not as extreme as Quebec with the language laws, but we do encourage it. So, okay. Kwe kakina, shija nijino endagna. Ganesha shijmitaguji ganigi wamag kinagominwa shin onje nongum. I am in Opijan Nishnabe Kiga, Omamanino Kik. We do Koya Kakanaguchaga, Wanaki and Anga, Shija Wanaki Unigawan. We do Koya Kakanaguch, Ganja Mino Mamadoswin, Shijaya, Mino Magashin, Shija Kakanama Giga. We do Koya Mino Wendaman, Wanaki Ninwendaman. I am Nongishka, we do Koya Kakanaguchaya, Bogadawan Kegun. Nigewan, I am a Shija, Migochonje, Nongum, Shija Wensi Sug, Kamaz is a jig. I Abinonji Shuk. I Wensi Suck. I Angwams in Kakanaguch, Mia, Miguach, Angada. So that's the end of it. It's usually I blab a little, but when it comes to wellness, we have an expression in Algonquin, and I hope you could all learn it today, but there's an expression in the Algonquin language when something's giving you a hard time or something's becoming really stressful, and what we say is "Pagidwan kegon." So can everybody say that? Or try? Okay, Pagidwan kegon. Pagidwan kegon. That's a hard one. Yeah, probably one of the harder, but the whole emphasis on the phrase is because in Algonquin we tend to say a lot of expression or affirmations when we're stressed out. So this one is just saying whatever is bothering you, you need to release it and let it go before it becomes a problem. So you'll usually see that also with Algonquins arguing in the language. They'll say, Pagidwan kegon. So it doesn't translate to English, but it's kind of a way of saying like you let it go so it doesn't keep bothering you. So anyway, I leave you with that, and take care. And Ayangwamzin means take care of yourselves in Algonquin.
That was wonderful, Sheldon. Thank you so much. I'll pull the microphone back down to my own shrimp height. But, I also wanted to note that Sheldon made the time to be here today on his son's 8th birthday. So we're really grateful to Sheldon for that. We're grateful for that too. And when I was listening to Sheldon speak, it made me think of two other things. When we're talking about Sheldon's son's birthday, and many of us in the crowd here are parents or grandparents or have children in our lives whom we love. And what gives me great hope is that we're raising now a generation of children for whom recognizing the role that Indigenous people play in our communities at every level is integral. It's a part of who the next generation is. It's just totally natural for them, and that's important. But we're also raising a generation of kids that I really hope will not face the same kind of stigma that so many in the audience have faced here today. Gord came to my kids' school, talked to them, talked to their classmates, and really they have a whole different way of approaching these issues now, and that's fantastic. Let's keep having these festivals, but let's move towards a future where we're really, as we are today, celebrating and encouraging resilience and courage, and that stigma truly becomes a thing of the past. So really important to have Sheldon here with us, and a great way to start. Alrighty, it is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage Jennifer Novak, who is the Executive Director of the Opioid Response Team within the Controlled Substances and Cannabis Branch of Health Canada. Comme vous le savez, Santé Canada a aidé à rendre cet événement possible et Jennifer travaille depuis longtemps dans ce domaine. Alors, bienvenue, welcome Jennifer, we're thrilled to have you here.
I do want to acknowledge the privilege I also have to be joining with all of you today on the unceded, unsurrendered territories of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. So nice, humbling moment for me. So a huge thanks to Gord and others at CAPSA for inviting me today. I want to start by saying, like, my journey kind of started 4 years ago. And, an impromptu meeting with, my friend Gord here on a Stigma Ends With Me Day. And I think 2 weeks into the job, I think that was just kind of serendipitous that we met on that day. And I think back a lot on those moments, and Maya Angelou has a a quote that says, "People don't remember what you said or what you did. They do remember how they made you feel." And I think, I think that was kind of the anchor and the kind of starting premise on my work for Health Canada and kind of moving forward. And how people feel is really important. And I think for me, the kind of foundational elements that we do and we are responsible for really mean that we have to involve the voices of the people who are most touched by these events. It's also so important to face stigma straight on, okay? Not shy away from it and have those difficult conversations. One of the biggest elements is storytelling, and Sheldon kind of brought that up. You can't understand someone's journey if you don't start by listening. And a day like today enables a platform for people to share their story and for others like me hopefully become allies through listening. And I think we recognize, especially as a federal government in Health Canada, that many of our actions may have had unintended consequences. And those consequences have had some dire outcomes for some people. And recognizing that and thinking about that and talking about it and listening is the most important kind of foundational elements that we can bring. And so a day like today is great because, in the before times, pre-COVID, this may have been kind of normal. But after 30 months, I got to hug Gord again, so that made me feel great. Without a mask, don't tell Vera. But I think it just kind of solidifies our community again together, and coming together, talking a common language, addressing difficult topics and difficult conversations together, but all on the same journey towards wellness. And so I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. I want to thank all the volunteers, because these things don't happen without a lot of sacrifice and a lot of heart. And I just hope that everybody, comes away from today with a little bit of joy in their heart, a little smile on their face, and kind of a boosted spirit to kind of keep going on all our wellness journeys. So a huge thanks to everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. And of course, thank you to Health Canada for your support of this event as well. And now, without further ado, someone who has perhaps a bit unwillingly become one of the most recognizable faces in Ottawa over the course of the past 2.5 years, someone who has tirelessly advocated for the health and well-being of Ottawa residents. It really is my great pleasure to introduce to the stage Dr. Vera Etches, Medical Officer of Health for Ottawa Public Health. Welcome.
Thank you. That is so kind. I'm just so pleased everyone's here. And I want to recognize all the hard work that so many have done to make sure that we can be in person. It's really taken all of us. And I am honored to be here to celebrate the first ever WOW Festival, right? WOW. It is a wow that there are over 200 organizations here because they care about promoting wellness and with a focus on substance use health. And it's so incredible. Of course, we have been here at Recovery Days before, and it's just so important to be guided by people with lived and living experiences, by the family and friends who are here, the service providers. It really is so many people. I applaud each of you because you're here working on wellness. And je remercie et salue toutes les personnes qui travaillent en vue de favoriser le mieux-être, ainsi que leurs familles et leurs amis, les fournisseurs de services, les alliés, les partenaires communautaires qui appuient et continuent d'appuyer les efforts qu'elles déploient. It's been an honor working beside partners over the last few years, advancing awareness and initiatives related to substance use health. And when I think back, it really is that community involvement, that community engagement, and hearing from people with lived and living expertise that's served as a foundation for the work that's promoting that better understanding of how to meet people's needs, to identify them and meet them. And this is something we're doing together. the dialogues with community partners have really helped Ottawa Public Health learn a lot more about substance use health, that idea that everyone could be supported to be well, regardless of their substance use. It's changed our strategies on mental health and substance use health. This is part of the language that we're talking about health for everyone. And I am hopeful that this shift in how we view and talk about substance use will better support residents then who have needs to be able to look at how we can be well and better access prevention work, better access treatment services, and have safe spaces, whatever service they are looking to be reaching. And so for Ottawa Public Health, the goals we have here are really based on what the community told us we need to be working on, right? So reducing stigma as a foundation, that people aren't able to come forward, aren't able to get the information they need because of stigma, to advance harm reduction initiatives to meet people where they're at, and then of course to look at that centralized access to services so that people may have health needs, social service needs, and know where to turn and can get what they need through one point of access. And there's been progress on each of these fronts. Last year, though, working with the Community Addictions Peer Support Association, CAPSA, thanks to CAPSA for hosting, we actually did a survey. It was representative of the people in Ottawa to better understand what is the nature, how are we doing when it comes to stigma that exists related to substance use. And so we can use this as a baseline and then be accountable to measure improvement over time. And, unfortunately, the information gathered from residents really did highlight that there is indeed a lot more that needs to be done to address stigma related to substance use. So, of course, it strengthens our commitment to do this. Ce constat referme notre détermination à travailler avec nos partenaires ayant une expérience concrète, actuelle ou passée afin de réduire cette stigmatisation et les effets néfastes qui en découlent. So we've been working with CAPSA for a number of years, really to promote an understanding of the spectrum of substance use and to move towards that person-first language where we see people ahead of any kind of disorder or labels that can be harmful. And we've been working on things together like the content and the resources on our website that can promote better ways of supporting people, including employers. We have a series called Have That Talk related to substance use that employers across Ottawa are using to better support. We have made strides. I'm proud of the work that the team is doing, but we can see that we need to address more systemic and structural barriers to well-being. So this is in our focus while we continue to increase stigma education and first-person language training. Même si nous avons réalisé de grands progrès, il est temps d'intensifier nos efforts et de nous attaquer aux obstacles structurels, tout en réduisant la stigmatisation grâce à l'information et en augmentant les programmes de formation conçus sur l'utilisation d'un langage axé sur la personne. And we know part of changing how structures, it requires working in different ways. We can't continue on the same path of doing things like we've always done them. So one thing moving forward, I'm happy to announce today that Ottawa Public Health is going to actually literally be standing beside CAPSA in terms of a nurse is literally moving in to work alongside the CAPSA team. Yeah, because we know, together we can learn more about how to be effective in changing systems and learn from each other, broaden the reach of some of the anti-stigma work. We know the system-level work includes improving how people who use substances access and are supported within healthcare and social service systems. The health system is under a lot of stress right now, and it probably doesn't need to be said, but I think the need to address and better improve the quality of services that people have when it comes to substance use and mental health is really clearer than ever, and people are motivated to make change. You can see many of the partners here today are looking at how to do better. I just want to thank CAPSA for bringing us along and being open to continue to I think the way you work, it's so important that you always emphasize compassion and collaboration and continuous learning, and that is how we'll be able to be more effective. So my hope is that as we continue together to promote person-first language and better services, that more people in Ottawa will communicate with residents about substance use in a way that helps everyone feel supported and informed, so that people will be able to find what they need for wellness, whether it's prescribed opioids or inpatient treatment, mental health counseling or peer support, maybe a running group or a social network or a community recreational program. These are all important for wellness for different people. And so again, thank you very much for bringing together the concepts of substance use health and mental health and physical health. These are all, it's such a positive way to recognize wherever we're at, we can improve our wellness. En étant ici et en participant à l'événement d'aujourd'hui, chacun d'entre vous contribue à réduire la stigmatisation dans notre communauté. Just by being here today, each of you is helping to decrease stigma in our community. And so, thank you to everyone again. Yeah. And we'll be here at Ottawa Public Health. We're going to continue to be committed to working with people with lived and living experiences, with families and friends, so that people can access what they need without judgment. Because we know substance use disorder is a health issue. It's not a moral failing. Nous avons encore beaucoup de travail à faire dans cet espace, mais nous allons absolument dans une bonne direction. C'est tellement encourageant. It's very motivating to see everyone's work today and everyone's participation. Merci encore, miigwech.
Alors, merci, Dr. Etches, pour votre travail important et continu. C'est fort apprécié. I think the comments by Dr. Etches are so important because, of course, she represents a health entity, works within a healthcare system, but this issue and how we resolve it and how we address it is a societal issue, and it involves every level, all people. We all have to work together. It is not just a health issue, and so really, really grateful that Dr. Etches would focus our attention on that too. And now we're about to hear from someone else who plays an integral role in shaping our understanding of and our response to substance use, health, mental health, and well-being. Veuillez vous joindre à moi pour accueillir le Dr. Alexander Caudarella, a family physician specializing in substance use issues, who has also just been appointed the new CEO of the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction. Welcome, bienvenue. We're thrilled to have the doctor with us here today.
Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon. I am Alex Caudarella, and I am the new CEO of the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction, or the CCSA. Yay! Thank you, Gord. I really appreciate the land acknowledgement, and I invite each of you from wherever you may be joining us to take a moment to reflect on how we use and respect this land and to acknowledge its traditional owners and caretakers. While CCSA and CAPSA have been partners for many years, this is my first time at this event, having just moved to Ottawa, and I'm really honored to be here. It's so great that CAPSA is able to lift an event focused on wellness. I think we all understand this idea of a right to health being a fundamental human right. But the fact that we even need an event like this shows us how far we have left to go before substance use health can be considered a fundamental human right. We need to recognize, and actually we need to say out loud, that frequently our health and social systems fail to treat people who use drugs and alcohol with any dignity at all. Even, and I'd go as far as saying especially when those people are reaching out for help. I remember when I was training to be a doctor, and there was one night in an emergency room, middle of the night, and for anybody who's ever worked in an emergency room in the middle of the night, you'll know that it's oddly busy but very calm with bright buzzing lights. And then all of a sudden, out of the calmness was interrupted a very loud screaming by a patient who was in one of the beds. He was uncomfortable, he was in withdrawal. And I'll never forget, I mean, the professor I was with, he turned to me. So this was a professor everyone loved, a really kind person, someone who was just, everyone loved to work with him. He turned to me and he whispered, I wish I could give them all an injection of potassium. And for those of you who don't know, an injection of potassium is a lethal injection. This is what they give to murderers in Texas and other places. And I remember just being completely shocked by hearing about that. I think for some reason he felt he was being compassionate towards people. And I remember thinking, well, at least I was the only person who heard this whisper. What I came to understand over the coming years was that these words that are whispered turn into discriminatory actions that scream loudly. And I think most of you, anybody who had lived or living experience, anybody who's worked in the health sector knows exactly what I'm talking about because it's transparent and it's obvious. And so that's why it's really necessary for us to be able to join our voices, and it's necessary for days like today, because we have to go out and tell people that they matter. We have to go out and tell people that their health and wellness matters and that people have value. What we all have in common, all these partners, all these organizations, all the people that are here today, is that in our own ways, we want to help people to be well. We want to empower ourselves and we want to empower each other. I'm really proud that the CCSA provides research, evidence, and recommendations to improve health of people living in Canada. We try and work to bring the science needed for government and people to make the right decisions. Our low-risk drinking guidelines are an example of that, and if you haven't already, I'm going to put in a plug to go to our website. We're doing a public consultation now, provide feedback, tell us if this is something that's useful and how it should go out. I'm also excited about our recent recommendations on how to support harm reduction workers through a double crisis of a toxic drug supply and a global pandemic. But we have so far to go. I again think we need to say things out loud. We need to say out loud that it's a failure every time someone leaves a hospital early or sick, being untreated because of the stigma or discrimination that they received. We need to say out loud that it's a failure every time someone overdoses and their friends are too afraid to call 911. I think we need to say out loud that it's a failure, and maybe the biggest failure, when people want help so desperately and they actually have no idea where they can safely turn for that help. We can talk about the real benefits everyone sees when substance use health is treated as health. We could talk about how if we helped people who use drugs early and effectively, we'd clear much of the backlog we see breaking the healthcare system today, but it's not part of that discussion. How improving access to care would mean that the same people don't have to show up in ERs over and over again, but it always comes back to the same thing. Every client is a person. Every person with lived or living experience has a voice that needs to be heard, and they really need to be the center of our conversations. That's what CCSA knows, and that's why we need to work to listen. You know, when I start to listen, I get actually really excited. I get excited because, well, first of all, I get excited because so many people are here. I mean, this is my first time, and it's just amazing to see so many folks here. But I get excited about the ideas. I get excited that there are hospitals where you can go, where you're more likely to be greeted at the door by a peer than a security worker. I get excited by every program that tries to reduce the chance that a person who uses drugs is going to end up in jail. I get excited because when I started working in this field, people would always ask me, why in the world would I want to do it? Why in the world would I ever want to work with folks like this? But now I have friends who are surgeons. Surgeons normally don't like to do anything to do with people, but I have friends who are surgeons and doctors of all kinds. They're calling me and they're asking, how can I help? How can I see this as an issue and how can I help? So together our organizations fight the stigma that is a barrier to listening. I'm proud to be part of that effort and now part of that team. And I believe that working together, this community can have a collective impact. But we have to make sure that now that people are listening, now that people want to do something, they have to listen to the right voices. They have to raise the voices of the communities that are affected by this. And we all have to make sure that we get this right. So I want to thank you so much for listening to me to speak. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm going to be here all afternoon with all of you, so I really hope that some people come to our booth, come and catch me in the hall somewhere, and come to get to know me. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
For being with us and spending your afternoon here with us, but also for your career of service and innovation. And we're touched, I think, all of us, by the powerful words that you shared too. Okay, I am now delighted to welcome Carla Thorpe to this stage. Carla is the Interim Vice President of Organizational Performance and Public Affairs with the Mental Health Commission of Canada. We're so grateful to you for taking the time to join us.
Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. And I've also had to adjust the microphone to my shrimp level as well from the other presenters. But it's a real honor to be here today at the WOW Festival representing the Mental Health Commission of Canada. Fantastic to see so many of our community partners that are out here today. And I understand we've got more than 100 different community agencies that are represented. So I really hope you'll all take a moment to go and tour around the booths and get to know some of the fantastic contacts that are here representing our community. I also want to acknowledge and pay respect to the Algonquin people on whose land we're gathering today, and to give an especial big thank you to Sheldon, who opened us in such a beautiful and humorous way this morning. It was just delightful, wonderful way to start the festival. Like some of the others that are here, the Mental Health Commission has been very fortunate to have participated in a number of the Recovery Day Ottawa events that have happened over the years. And I can say that each and every one of them has been so impactful. And no doubt this year is going to be no exception to that rule. One of the things that all of our staff that have been involved in some of the recovery days over the years, when we talk to them afterwards about what their experience has been, they always come back with the same sentiment, that really what strikes them is that sense of community, that sense of belonging, and that sense of working together as a bigger collective. And certainly we can see that echoed in all of the connections that are happening here today, and certainly more to come this afternoon. I know Vera, in her remarks as well, spoke about some of the impacts of the pandemic. And again, maybe some of this goes without saying, but we certainly know from a lot of the work that we've been doing in partnership with CCSA, sort of monitoring some of the mental health and substance use trends through the pandemic, that the pandemic has taken a really significant toll on the members of our community. It's affected people's work, people's finances, certainly their health and their relationship, and challenged the way that we've been working and living for many, many years. And we know that the pandemic has also taken a very unique toll on those with substance use health issues. So we need to be particularly conscious of that as we look to see how we can support those people moving forward. Again, I think Alex spoke to this need really beautifully about us trying to have hope as we're coming together as community members. And we know that hope is certainly really integral to our work. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the answers are easy for us in terms of moving forward. We have a really cobbled together system, a combination of privately funded and publicly funded services that are not always easy for people to access. And there's certainly lots of room for improvement in terms of how we can work together to provide that ease of access for everyone that needs care. And thinking about our gathering today, I just want to echo some of the comments and sentiments that have already been shared by some of our speakers this morning, just in terms of reinforcing that each and every one of us has such a significant role to play in reducing stigma, and just being here today and showing our support and making those connections and having those conversations is a great way for each of us to step up and play that role in reducing stigma. Another sentiment that's already been shared is that there's great hope to be found in our community. And I can see that as we walk around and see the diversity of services and community agencies that are represented here. Gives me great hope that as a collective, we can really work together to make some improvements, because really we are all in this together. Certainly at the Mental Health Commission of Canada, we stand united in working to end stigma towards people who use substances. We're very happy to be here to celebrate the successes of those who are working on wellness, and to look to see how we can work together on further advancements in services and resources that will help people in their journey as well. I want to thank CAPSA as well, again, for fostering this sense of community that we're all experiencing here today. We've been very privileged at the Mental Health Commission to have been working closely with CAPSA over the last number of years. And I know that as that relationship grows, so will the knowledge that we gain as organizations, as individuals working in this cause together to end stigma, and also to improve mental health and substance use health outcomes for all Canadians. You can probably see the t-shirt that I'm wearing here today. It's a symbol, actually, of the work that we've been doing with CAPSA. They were very generous in creating these t-shirts for the staff at the Mental Health Commission of Canada when we began working together, to really remind us about the importance not only of the work that we do, but in how we do the work, and taking a values-based approach to leadership. So reminding us some of those principles of compassion, of kindness, of empathy, of listening, of respect. And that's really something that we've taken to heart, not only in fostering our relationship with CAPSA, but also thinking about how we're working in partnership with other organizations and bringing those same values and those same principles to the work that we're doing with every partner across the country. So as we take in the rest of the WOW Festival, I hope you too will take some of those principles to heart as you're interacting with others and after you're leaving today in the work that you're doing moving forward. So again, a big, big thank you to Gord and Anthony from CAPSA and all the others that have worked so hard to put together this event. We're just really thrilled to be here and participating. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Carla. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for reminding us of the importance of compassion and empathy, and the importance of collaboration and partnership too. It's integral to all of this. How are y'all doing out here? You all right? Okay. Well, I'll tell you, you're looking great. From my vantage point, I couldn't have a better looking crowd in front of me. Smart too. Y'all look smart. All right, we're moving right along. We have a few more wonderful speakers who are joining us today. Et maintenant, c'est avec grand plaisir que j'accueille sur scène Papa Ladjike-Diouf, directeur des services cliniques chez Centre Le Cap. Papa Ladjike-Diouf is a clinical director in addiction and mental health who has dedicated his career to working with a wide variety of clients, both here in Canada and globally. And we are really thrilled to have him with us. Bienvenue et à vous la parole.
Merci, merci. Bonjour, bonjour tout le monde. It's fantastic to see all these organizations working every day around the sector and seeing the community around. So I just wanted to thank CAPSA and to congratulate the organization and all the community around CAPSA God, bravo. And you are doing a great work for us, for our community, for the clients. The last 16 years, as a clinician, I have I've seen that sometimes when we are talking about stigma, we just address interpersonal stigma. But for me, the first and the biggest stigma is the systemic stigma. And here I'm talking about the funding in our sector. J'ai vu tellement de bons professionnels partir. J'ai vu tellement de clients qui n'ont pas accès à des services adaptés parce que simplement notre secteur est sous-financé et on peine à garder du personnel, on peine à recruter du personnel, on peine à offrir des services de qualité à nos clients. So it's really important that we recognize all the work the professionals we have in the sector are doing every day, every time to help those people, those population who need and who deserve service of quality, who deserve to access on adapted services. So I know that you, my colleagues here, you are not rich about, money, but you are rich about your humanity. Vous êtes riche de votre humanité. Vous êtes riche de votre temps. Vous êtes riche des sacrifices que vous faites tous les jours pour essayer d'aider toutes ces personnes-là. Et quand je dis ça, je pense à une personne qu'on a perdue hier, une grande dame de la communauté francophone, Madame Mariette Carrier-Fraser, qui pendant des années a été une championne, membre de notre, disons comme de notre CA, et qui a beaucoup aidé au service en français. Et aujourd'hui, il est important que je parle un peu du travail énorme que nous faisons avec les communautés africaines, caribéennes et noires. Ottawa Black Mental Health Coalition is doing a great job with partners, with professionals, with the community to address stigma. Because stigma is a culture. And if we want to win against stigma, we need to be really educated to know how to avoid, how to help people to avoid that fear around discrimination. Because we have a real fear in some of our communities about discrimination. And discrimination is a culture. Discrimination is a big barrier. And this work, this kind of event, is a big opportunity for us, for the professionals, for the communities, to, main dans la main, avancer, as we said, work together. We have to work together. We have to be humble, working together, and to help those people living with addiction and mental health issues to raise their voice. We have to, just écouter leurs besoins. It's about their lives. It's about their needs. And we need to hear those needs. We have to work with those needs. We are not experts of their life. They are their own expert of their life. So we need to hear their needs. And their needs today is just to have respect, to have compassion, et juste être présent pour eux. So merci à CAPSA, merci à God, Anthony. Je suis fier de faire partie de la famille de CAPSA. Je fais partie aussi, I'm a member of the CAPSA family too. So, thank you so much. Merci de me donner l'opportunité de ces quelques paroles aujourd'hui. Merci. Thank you so much.
Et merci, Papa Ladjike Diouf, pour votre présence parmi nous aujourd'hui et également pour vos propos puissants. We're really grateful to have you and your powerful words as a part of our event today. Now, just before we get to our next guest, we're actually live streaming this event. So there's all of us here, but there are also a ton of people online who are taking part today. So I want you to put your hands in the air and just give a wave. Give a wave so they know that they're part of this too, and they're very much welcome. Thank you for doing that. And thank you to our online participants for joining us. We're thrilled that you're here. All right, and now we're going to do another welcome. We're going to welcome together Anthony Esposti, who's the CEO of CAPSA, who leads an accomplished and energetic team of professionals as they work, obviously, every single day to dismantle stigma and discrimination for people addressing their substance use health. Anthony, your team has really just worked tirelessly to put this event on. All of the speakers are acknowledging that and thanking you and showing their pride in the partnership. Welcome. We're really looking forward to hearing from you now.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you very much. And really, I know that speakers have acknowledged Gord and myself in their speeches, but really our capable and knowledgeable, energetic team is what's really responsible, or who are really responsible for bringing this together. So. So it's a little event that we've pulled together here for you today. We are so very excited about having more than, I learned the difference between more than and over this week, but more than 100 community partners gathered together here, and it's just absolutely amazing. So welcome everyone, bienvenue, Piashig. Standing here looking across the crowd, I can't help but think, wow. That's all I have to say is wow. CAPSA was established to remove barriers to care for people who use substances. Today we have more than 100 community partners standing beside us, working with us to remove these barriers by putting an end to systemic stigma. Thank you. Thank you to all our sponsors and community partners, not just for their financial contributions to WOW, not just for showing up, but for agreeing that if we gather together to simply talk about wellness, we can end the stigma associated with whatever keeps us from being well. By being here today, you have joined with the Ottawa Community Action Plan and the Ottawa Board of Health in prioritizing the reduction of stigma as it relates to substance use health, with the goal to improve the health outcomes of people living in our great city. Thank you to our speakers this afternoon. CAPSA has worked hard at forging close relationships with Ottawa Public Health, the Canadian Centre for Substance Use and Addiction, Mental Health Commission of Canada, the Black Mental Health Alliance, and LeCap. They in turn have demonstrated valuable humility in learning from an organization of subject matter experts with lived and living experience. They have agreed to work alongside CAPSA in its efforts to dismantle stigma and transform systems and improve substance use health of people living in Canada. Our work is not easy. Stigma is pervasive, it's deeply rooted, and it's difficult to dislodge. Stigma is real. But we, as people and as an organization, are resilient and persistent. We remain strong but flexible, something soft yet powerful like water in a river. It has the ability to make rough stones smooth. Our work's aim is to make people's path to wellness, whether we speak of substance use health, mental health, or physical health, smoother. Today shows that this is not merely a dream, it's happening right here, right now, in this place. So thank you everyone for coming. Merci beaucoup. Miigwech. I also want to add today that at the back of all of this, we have our friends from Respectrix and from Recovery Care handing out naloxone kits. Naloxone kits are a critical life-saving device for people who use opioids. It has the ability to reverse an overdose. The thing about reversing an overdose, though, that does not treat a substance use disorder. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is talking about substance use disorder. While this is a life-saving kit, there's still a lot of suffering that takes place after a life has been saved. And we need communities and service providers to come together to provide the help, to show people that there is help to address their substance use health. What's also key about a naloxone kit and about the work that we do in ending stigma is that this kit is no good if you use opioids alone. And stigma keeps people using opioids alone. You need someone by you to administer the naloxone to save your life. And by ending stigma, it could help end the shame of people using substances so that they have the opportunity to live another day. And that's the important work that we do. That's why it's serious. This is a great party, but this is serious and important work. People are dying, not just from opioid use. 67,000 people living in Canada will die this year from substance use, including alcohol and tobacco and opioids. So our work is very important here, and I'm so grateful for all of you to gather together to talk about our wellness, break the stigma, and end the suffering of so many thousands of people in Canada. Thank you very much.
Anthony, thank you, and that's an important reminder. We're here to celebrate and to collaborate together today, but this is serious work, and we're grateful to you and your team for doing that serious work and helping us to focus on the path forward. But again, congratulations to the whole team, to our community sponsors and collaborators for their support in putting it together. Okay, it's now a chance for us to honor someone who has made an incredible contribution in this field. We have an award to present, and to do that, I'm going to invite Gord Garner, who's right here, up to the mic. Of course, Gord is Vice President of Strategic Partnerships with CAPSA. He's going to be introducing our award recipient. We're looking forward to it, Gord. First of all, though, I really would ask that you hold your shoes up so that anyone who doesn't know about your shoe fetish has a chance to check out some pretty awesome shoes. We all pale in comparison.
Hi, everybody, and so, hi! I'm usually the person that's excited here, but I see that everybody seems to be excited today, and so it's nice. I don't feel so alone. But I've got a pleasure, an honor, and a responsibility now to share with you. As you know, over the years, we've always recognized people who have stood beside us, people who have supported us. And traditionally, they have come from a direct service situation, which is so much beneficial to us when there are people that care when we get there. But there's a great deal needed in systems, and we heard that throughout all the speakers today. And so this year, you know, I'm not that bright, so I got a long list of stuff that this person has done, and who knows? it's probably incomplete, but the idea that if you were in trouble, that we would come to you, not with an ambulance, but with care, because you didn't need an ambulance, you need to be cared for in this moment in time and place. That we would have rapid access medicine available to people outside the hospital, and that you wouldn't have to get there, we'd get to you. It was driven by our award winner this year. The fact that that might be around alcohol detoxing, right? That comes from this person. The idea that what we've got here, you know, what has everybody said? Isn't it wonderful we're all here together? Well, you can imagine how wonderful it would be if you weren't well today and you could pick up a phone or send a text message or go online and find all this in one place. And that this is actually just a template of what we need. An example, and it's not supposed to be a day, it's supposed to be how our society works and helps each other. And so that's called coordinated access to integrated services on a step care basis, and so that if I just need to talk to somebody today, I can do that. I don't have to self-diagnose. I'm never going to go anywhere again where I'm not sick enough or I'm too sick. And no one is ever going to tell anybody in this community again that we don't serve anyone like you here. And so that's the stuff, right? But I also want to talk a bit about the person, because it takes people to make stuff happen. It takes a tenacity and takes a strength of courage to work within systems and to promote change. You know, anybody ever start a new job? Sort of the next day you got a list for the boss. By the way, have you ever thought about doing it this way? And imagine you're in the healthcare system that has operated in a discriminatory way towards people for decades, and you get there and say, have you ever thought about being kinder? Right? Have you ever thought about change? And everybody's going to roll their eyes, right? And then you say, well, okay, maybe you haven't thought about it, or maybe you thought about it in your first year and you gave up into it in your second year, but I'm not going to give up. So Dr. Kim Grace is someone who didn't give up on these simple concepts. Sorry. It matters, eh? It matters that our allies work with the intensity of the need and with the determination in the simplicity of this is wrong and this is right. It's not rocket science. It is compassion, it is care. Want to come cry with me? Anyways, we can't hug because we're being good. So, Dr. Grace, AKA Kim, this is a recognition of your commitment and perseverance to substance use health and mental health. And
I told Gord the likelihood of me getting through this with dry eyes was 0, and I was right. I don't know what to say, and that's unusual, really, for people who know me. I am so inspired. I was here at the first, what we used to call Recovery Day Ottawa, when it was 20 people, 30 people, and look where we are today. What do you have, 110, 120 booths, your community, your people with lived expertise partners, your national associations, your Pan-Canadian Health organizations, Health Canada. So Gord told me, I've known Gord for years and years, and he said something that has always stuck with me, that really inspires me and guides me to do the work I do. And I don't have a speech, but I have this one thing. And it's a quote, and he knows what I'm going to say. And he said to me, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So thank you to CAPSA, to the partners who are here today, who are that group of citizens, because the world is changing. Because it is, you know, we talk about breaking down these barriers and breaking down stigma. We don't just break those things down. We overcome, and we overcome together. And that's not quite good enough and not quite what people deserve and what they need. They need the transformation. And that is what today marks. And it's one of many days that CAPSA does this work, and that all the partners in here do this work. Each and every day, I am so honored and so privileged to get this award. But I do this work not by myself. This is an award for all the folks who are part of this journey, for CAPSA for bringing us together. It's hard to persevere. And folks like Gord and our lived expertise partners and leaders, they keep us on the journey, they keep us moving, because it's the right thing to do. There are no other choices. This is what we have, and that's where we need to go. And we are guided and inspired. So every time we're not quite there yet, that's okay. We can do it together, because you have how many people here this year? And you'll have twice the number of people here next year. So thank you so much for what you've done for me, for my families, for my friends, and for the people that I work every day to serve, getting them the access to care they need, breaking down the stigma that prevents them from getting what they need, raising awareness, and most of all, talking about one health: physical health, mental health, and substance use health. No silos, one health for all. Thank you.
Well, way to go. Congratulations to Dr. Corrèze. We're thrilled. That's okay. Usually my husband says I don't need a microphone, that it's a blessing for everyone when it's not on. Congratulations again to Dr. Corrèze. What a remarkable achievement. What an incredible career of work so far, and much more to come. So really, really terrific. And Gord's coming back up to the stage soon, because as some of you may remember, we do a big photo, so don't go anywhere. But first, we are joined with someone who is familiar to every single one of you in the audience. It is, of course, our Mayor, Jim Watson, who is here today to deliver a Working on Wellness Day proclamation. We're thrilled that he's here. Alors, je vous souhaite la bienvenue, Monsieur le Maire. Jim Watson, welcome to the stage. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much, Catherine, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue à votre l'Hôtel de Ville. Welcome to your City Hall. What a wonderful turnout. Thank you for coming out, and thank you to the sun. It's warm. We can get together. We're not on Zoom. Everyone telling me I'm on mute for the 10th time. On behalf of my colleagues on City Council, it's a real pleasure to be here once again. And I want to thank everyone from the Community Addictions Peer Support Association for inviting me. The WOW, Working on Wellness Festival, which has really grown over the last number of years, obviously the last couple of years has been a challenge with COVID, but the festival brings together interconnected communities under one umbrella for substance use, health, mental health, and physical health. This is an important opportunity for the entire community to engage with Ottawa's wellness communities and its allies. I want to thank everyone for being here. I also want to thank our great colleagues at Ottawa Public Health and Community and Social Services, and I know other city services are here as well, and we thank them. Today is an important opportunity to emphasize our commitment to reducing stigma and to raising awareness of the many addiction support services in our community. We applaud the hard work and incredible achievements. Can we give a big round of applause for all our exhibitors who are here today? Thank you very, very much. Merci beaucoup. Now, today really is a demonstration of the important part of the process of reducing stigma in the community while acknowledging where we are in our recovery. This is an ongoing journey, as many of you know, free of stigma and discrimination, where individuals, families, and workplaces and communities are celebrated for their perseverance and commitment to recovery. Everyone in the community has a role to play in overcoming the stigma of addiction and in supporting recovery. And I want to thank very much the organizers and the volunteers who have put together such an amazing display from across the community. And it's my pleasure to officially proclaim September 16th Working on Wellness Day. Therefore, I, Jim Watson, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, do hereby proclaim September 16th, 2022 Working on Wellness Day in Ottawa. Par conséquent, et aussi en français, par conséquent, Jim Watson, maire de la ville d'Ottawa, proclame par la présente le 16 septembre 2022, journée avançant vers le mieux-être à Ottawa. Have a great festival. Thank you. Come on up, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for being a part of this. That was great, and a super fun photo shoot there. And just before I hand things over to Gord, I'd like to ask all of you to please give yourselves a round of applause for the journeys you're on, for the support you're providing. It's great to have you here. And Gord's going to take it away now.
Thanks, Catherine. So the program was going really quickly today, and someone said, we need a speaker who can go on a bit. I said, I don't know. You know anybody we could ask? This is it's obviously been emotional for me already. Has anybody else had an emotional experience being together today? Now, this is the kind of the part where there's all these people way back there that we want to have come way up here, right? And so we need to do that in a compassionate and kind way, right? Can everybody at the back come to the front? And I'm talking about people at the booths, volunteers. Hi, folks! It's time to come here! Yeah! Come on up! And I'm thinking that we got some banners here. Right here. Well, people are coming. I want to say a couple of words. And I'm not sure there's not much point in trying to be impactful because it's been an impactful day. But I just want to notice my mom's here again this year. This is a hard one to say. My daughter's here this year. And I hope you have friends and family here this year, and I hope that next year there'll be more of them. And I hope that there's a sense here today of purpose and empowerment. And I want to talk about some of the community partners we have here and some of the impact that's happening. Empowerment isn't some sort of magic wand where you say you have more power now. It's when you take the power out of your pocket and hand it to the other person and say, I've got too much power in your life and you need to have more power in what's going on here. And so when we see all these community partners coming to join us, right? There's an organization of people who used a lot of the community services, and we're now inviting those community partners to come and stand beside us. And it's thanks for the help, but we want to help you now and the organizational humility it takes to learn from former clients is significant. It also speaks about the intensity of those people to do the right thing and to help. But right now, I'm noticing, you know when I said everybody for the back come forward, did you notice nobody did? Okay, so I'm getting older now. In the past, I'd stand here and I'd use the voice, but can you help me? Okay, can you stand up and turn around and tell everybody come up here? Everybody come up here! Come here! Go! We need you at the front. We need you at the front. If you're coming this way, grab the person beside you in a very respectful way and say you're supposed to be coming to the front. Okay? We're going to say some magic words and change the world. Come on, everybody, please. Maybe that's what I forgot. I forgot the please word, eh? Please come to the front. Please come to the front. Okay. This is what it looks like when you come to the front. If more of you come to the front, it'll look more like this. There we go. Okay, now that's what we're talking about. It should be really hard to get us all here. I mean, together. It should be really easy to come here, but hard to get together, something like that. Keep coming, we got room. It's working. Wow, no, that's the bad gag of the day. Mr. Weeks is here. Oh yeah, thank you. Well, thanks for figuring it out I wasn't very clear, eh? Look what the word please did. Eh? Look, that's amazing. My mom's here, and she told me that a long time ago, but I forgot the stuff. Well, my mind says mom now. Right? You can go either way. It's mom or wow. Right? Yeah, I know. That's where the mom comes from. So, Catherine, everybody turn this way just for a minute and say thanks to Catherine. Catherine made the mistake of agreeing to have a coffee with me a few years ago for 15 minutes. An hour and a half later, she's still sitting there going, how do I say goodbye to this guy? And she never has. And you saw the T-shirts from MHCC. And I just want to share with you, when I went to Catherine's daughter's class, and I asked those 14-year-olds how they thought they should be with other people, I saw a template for how we should be with each other across this country. And I'm dedicated to the idea that we will go and ask all ourselves these questions about how should you be with someone. We know the answer. We need to activate it into our life. And so that's where we're going to get to this piece. This is, look at all of you. What the? Wow! So we got a little chorus to do. And so we're going to practice, because then, you know, we're going to tape it. You're going to all be like stars. So stigma ends with me. Compassion begins with us. What's the last word? Wow. Okay, so one run through here. Stigma ends with me. Compassion begins with us. Wow! Did we get it right the first time? One more time. One more time. Let's do a chorus. Stigma ends with me. Compassion begins with us. Wow! Thank you, everybody. We love you.
So many of us are walking alone in our grief over losing someone to substance use. Blinded by sorrow and silenced by stigma, it's hard to find others who understand our pain. We don't talk about our loss as much as we would like, because we can't. People view death differently when it's a result of substance use disorder. There is still so much stigma. If only people knew that substance use disorder is a health condition and that addiction is not a choice, they might have more compassion for us, the grieving, and for the 60,000 people we lose to substance use each year. Each death represents 7 grieving family members, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. We are nearly 500,000 Canadians looking for answers and meaningful action to prevent more deaths. So let's walk together in compassion to honor those we've lost, to help end so much needless suffering, and increase wellness for all. We know we can do better. Let's do better together.
Hi, my name is Gord Garner. I'm the CEO of the Community Addictions Peer Support Association, and so I'm always talking to people about stigma. But where I have the greatest impact on stigma is when I'm walking down the street and I'm checking my own thinking, seeing if I've got a bias coming on and whether I'm judging people without compassion. It's my personal individual actions that are going to make a change in my life, for me, and for the community that's directly in front of me. I think you can do the same thing. That's how we're going to make a difference here in Canada. Will you join us?
The biggest stigma I face is from myself.
Stigma for me is shame and isolation.
I hope for people to not let the stigma affect you from getting help, because I waited too long.
At my workplace, a lot of my coworkers, they thought that I could just learn how to drink normally, and a lot of them couldn't understand why I quit drinking and why I couldn't go out with them and continue on my merry way the way I used to be. But yeah, so that's my personal experience with stigma.
It used to be a societal norm that women didn't vote, and so societal norms are often not correct. And so that presumption that because this is how I spoke in the past, it's how I should speak in the future, that's always taken a piece of education. It's always taken a bit of social unrest, some drama to bring that to the forefront. And so I'm so glad about the changes that have taken place in our last 100 years of history. And I'm looking forward to working with Ottawa Public Health to make changes around substance use and substance use disorder.
I'm a great believer that change is possible, absolutely, and it does help to tell stories. So I think CAPS has done an excellent job of bringing forward those stories, help people understand the harm that can be done with language, blaming people, and so people need real skills and tools and ways to understand how we shift that language to people. And recognizing people are people and shouldn't be isolated because of any particular nature of their health.
And I think you touched on something that's close to my heart, that the expectation that people with substance use disorders need to get better to get help. And that's the only medical condition I know of where if you don't get better, your help goes away.
Yeah, that the work of Ottawa Public Health includes a team that focuses on harm reduction, and that is a team that absolutely, they have excellent expertise in meeting people where they're at. You can't say you can only come to this health service if you do this better or that better. We absolutely need to be accessible, and it's something, we're looking at how do we take that expertise that we have in harm reduction and spread that philosophy through other healthcare settings. I'm Dr. Vera Etches with Ottawa Public Health, and Stigma Ends With Us.
Indigenous people are all drunks. And that's not true. Intergenerational trauma because of the residential schools. A lot of these people go into substance abuse because the pain, the mental anguish of what happened to them or what happened to their parents.
I think that often people aren't aware of actually stigmatizing people. I see people who have called out people who are struggling and are at the lowest point in their lives. They've called them bums, they've called them addicts, they've called them junkies, they've called them crazy, they've called them lazy, and even in one case, zoo animals. So if you can imagine a young girl who has fled her home at the age of 12 because she's been abused since she's been 4 years old, she goes out on the streets with no skill sets to get a job, not even being old enough to support herself, no family support, and then gets taken advantage of by others. Or somebody who has been in a horrific accident and experienced a brain injury and falls through the healthcare system and becomes addicted to their pain medication. People who have experienced family breakdowns. Those are people who come to us for assistance every day. And then when I see people who are judging them and saying, just pull up your bootstraps, get a job, bothers me every day. I see it every day, and I think it's up to us to put a stop to that, especially those of us who are in privileged positions. We need to start understanding where people are coming from, the trauma that they're experiencing, and actually feeling empathy and kindness and compassion rather than judgment. So the stigma has to end with us.
Hi, my name's Mike McClellan. I'm here to support Stigma Ends With Me. In my own life, I've had my own stigma has kept me from recovery, and a lot of my friends who are actively using have never found treatment because they're worried about stigma from their family members and their colleagues. So I'm here to support Stigma Ends With Me.
Stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
Je mets fin à la stigmatisation.
Stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
The stigma ends with me.
Stigma ends with me.
La stigmatisation s'arrête à moi.
Hashtag stigma ends with me. Hi, I'm William. I'm a person, and I would like you to join me in Person First Language. When we use Person First Language, we reduce stigma, and when we reduce stigma, we create opportunities for well-being.
If you really cared about anyone but yourself, you'd stop being a useless addict.
You promised you'd never do that again. Stop saying it'll be different this time. It never is. You're just a loser.
You're so stupid. How are you going to pay the bills? What are you going to do? Do you give a crap about anything?
You're a waste of breath. Don't tell me you care. There's no proof. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
I can't stand the sight of you.
If you think that name calling and shaming us is going to help,
we want you to know.
We've tried that already. It doesn't work.
The day my life changed, I met someone who said they knew I cared. That maybe I just needed to learn how to change, not how to care.
I always remember the feeling of being understood for the first time. Acceptance.
Once I realized that my brain had been hijacked and I wasn't thinking straight, I started working and changing the way that my mind works. It wasn't long before my life changed as well.
I'm still struggling. I now see that the me in me is doing the best to change my life. Not giving up and doing my best today, even though people don't always understand. It's better because now more people talk to me like a person. That's good. It helps, because I am one.
Hi, I'm Gord Carney from CAPS. Language is a powerful tool in helping people with substance use disorders. Please choose Person First Language. Speak about the person. Help reduce the suffering. You can make a difference here in Canada for your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community. For more information on how to use Person First Language, go to our website, www.capsa.ca/resources. I want to say thanks in advance. I know that you want to make a difference.
One, two, one, two.
Yep.
father's fortune, and a Mr. Edward Smith, English pirate masquerading as a merchant. And this is their story. Take me there to the ether, till I feel the winds of fever. Take me there, I got to see her, I'd give up heaven to be in her. Up the stairs you find me waiting, light as whisper fairies there. Touch me, torture till I'm shaking, plug my clothes without a care. Take me shivering like a bird, live as silk and brass naked. Oh, you love to make me yearn. Blessed is she who likes to take me there, to the place beyond the pines. Take me there, to the maple yonder the river. Take me there, till I'm breathing, screaming, crying. Take me there, and it feels so sweet, baby. Leave me tangled in your bedsheets. Is the place where love was made. There's a whisper inside me, fizzing as fresh lemonade. Hearts are fluttering, burning cool. There's a scarcity in there, a symphony of sighs and swears. And when you come, you take me there, to the place beyond the pine. Take me there, till I'm drowning in your river. Take me there, where you come, I stray to follow. Take me there, calling 3, 2, 1, go there. I do believe that you could be the best I ever had. I'm yours as long as you want me, and even after that. Do the lilies sing, or am I just imagining it all? Did I really blink, or am I still dreaming? Take me there, to the place beyond the pining. Take me there, till I feel you on my fingers. Take me there, I am longer than the longing. Take me there.
Thank you. So, we are Manor Park Collective, and we're going to be playing some songs for you. I'm Jason. That's Pierre. Hello. That's John. That's Mark. And that's Chris. And this is a song called Station 3-4, and I hope you like it.
Shuffling crowds on the station 3-4. Your suitcase limps along like a leopard. You left like a father in the dead of the night, and I woke like a mother to the corpse of your flight. Darling, where have you gone off to? Do you know who you've done this to? It's darling, it's me that you've done this to. Darling, it's me that you wounded so. Darling, it's me. Darling, it's me. I booked that train for a reason. I knew that I'd be leaving, and the darkness felt like a cloak over a robber. Made a cock queen of you, but my God, I swear I love her. Shuffling crowds on the station 3-4. I called a cab to my lover's front door, and an inebriated driver and the stretcher's snow. If he drove off this bridge, you'd be the last to know. Darling, where have you gone off to? Do you know who you've done this to? It's darling, it's me that you've done this to. Darling, it's me that you wounded so. Darling, it's me. Darling, it's me. You knew, yes you knew, still you did it and you knew, yes you knew, with your secretary do. It's me that you've done this to.
Thank you.
blood's been filled with sand. I can hear footsteps that above me. I see shadows through the lines. I see nails pricking in my neck. I can feel my legs. Is anyone coming to seek me? Call me if you need me. I won't be here much longer. Been under you for hours. I've won the game of hide and seek. So call me if you need me. Or did you all forget about me? I am sitting at the marina. The wind is coaxing tears from my eyes. There's a puddle under the table, a scourge of wine and mosquitoes feasting on my thighs. The boats are bleached and swaying like ghosts. The hearts are carved into the vines. Rusty nails still in my neck. I can feel my legs. Is anyone coming to seek me? Call me if you need me. I won't be here much longer. I'm waiting at the harbor. I'll soon be going under. Call me if you need me. I won't be here much longer. I'm waiting at the harbor. I'm burning with the endless. So call me if you need me. Or did you all forget about me? The icicle drip drips down like a metronome. Hopeful I am along, I will wait. But once it melts to the puddle, I will know it's time to go. The water ripples through the paper bowl. Like the last lover at the ball, it sways, and now the ink is muddled. I will leave it there alone, unless you call me if you need me. Call me if you need me. Call me if you need me. Call me, don't you need me? Call me, I need you.
That's Call Me If You Need Me. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next song that we're going to play is called If. there's a bee that's following me around. Whew. This next song is called Pinafore. Pinafore.
I've been waiting. Here I see you stop and stare. You walk on by. Did I see something you didn't like? Are you bored of meeting in the night? Ooh, did you change your mind? Let me read your mind. Let me read your mind. Did I misread all of the signs? Run, rabbit, rabbit, run through the wood, unholstered gun. Where you lead, I'll follow. Down, down to the dark, the nighttime corpse of Brewer Park. Bliss we breathe is borrowed. Ooh, I find your turquoise far behind the rundown school bus graveyard. You catch my eye, sit down, sun buttoning your pinafore, and my hands pick the lock to the science lab back door, and my fingers pick the padlock to your pleasure.
Thank you. The next song is called Tomfoolery, and I wrote it about a very interesting roommate that I had.
I was only 17 when I moved into the house in the field. I'll tell you the time when Leo put a knife on the Russian. See the Russian, he been talking some rude. When Leo says, yo, who you talking to? This happened by the back door side of the kitchen. Now I wasn't really there at the start. I'd had a long day working the mart, and I dropped in his sleep like a pebble in a pool as soon as I got back. But then Leo says, who the fuck do you think you is, boy? What the fuck do you think this is, boy? It's just a honeydew and you is making all this noise. I make that shit every day, like every day. I ain't a liar, is you calling me a liar? No. Now the boys, they all gather around, hoot and holler like an alley bound. Who spilled the oil on the fucking ground? The puppy did, he to sleep on the couch. I didn't hear what the Russian said, cause I'm on the couch, I'm playing dead. But then Leo's like, wait, say that shit again. Then a knife and everyone's screaming. I've had enough of tomfoolery, the buffoonery, the raggedy, haggedy, hoodery. Can't sleep if somebody ain't next to me, no. I've had enough of tomfoolery, the buffoonery, the raggedy, haggedy, hoodery. Can't sleep if somebody ain't next to me, no. No. No.
That's tomfoolery. Thank you. And this next song is called Love Handles. And it's sort of about the idea of knowing someone or having someone who you think you don't deserve, and all the fear that comes with that very particular brand of insecurity where you just feel like someone's miles out of your league. Just tender, tender emotions.
I don't wanna spend the rest of my life being told how lucky I am to be the object of your affection. I don't wanna spend the rest of my being hearing just how out of my league you are and having to laugh it all. Darling, you know I can see it now. The endless dinner parties where everyone would want you, everyone inquire what it must be like to be with you, to be you, to be yours, to be with the object of their affection. But you're selfish and lazy. Well, you don't hear me bitching about it. You say I'm obsessive and crazy. Well, you're selfish and lazy, but you don't hear me bitching about it. I don't gotta like everything about you. I'd slice off my love handles to feed you if you needed it. And that's gotta count for something. No, that's gotta count for something. I don't wanna spend the rest of my life being told how lucky I am to be the object of your affection. I don't wanna spend the rest of my being hearing just how out of my league you are and having a laugh at all. No, darling, you know I can see it now. The endless dinner parties where everyone would want you, everyone inquire what it must be like to be with you, to be you, to be yours, to be with me, object of their affection. No, that's gotta count for something.
Thank you. The next song that we're going to play, there's essentially a story being told with the song that we just played, Love Handles, and this next song, which is more so about the fear of love when you can you stop? There's a B. It's more so about the fear of love when you have it, where Love Handles is more so about the fear of love, of the promise of love. And this is called This Thing. This thing, as in this thing. Private anguish, hold my smokeless fire. All this private madness, hold my soundless choir. All the secret circus, hold my bloodless war. All this restful ruckus, hold my seal is sure. What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? What is this feeling? Is this feeling? Is this feeling? Is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? This insidious safety, my impending doom. All this pleasant agony, there's scarcity of bloom. Turn down the light, turn up the night, turn down the writing in my room. All this wailing whisper, all this joyful tune. What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? What is this feeling? Is this feeling? Is this feeling? Is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? And I search the valleys of my heart for hours, and I search for any crevice undevoured. But this warmth threatens to melt my walls and leave me unprotected. All my asking left me only with the question, and the question is, what is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What is this? What is this feeling? Is this feeling? Is this feeling? Is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? The next song that we're going to play, it's our last song actually. This is breezed by. This is our last song and it's called Unfold Yourself.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each,
What's your dreaming when you lay down in your bed? Are there demons in your head? Are you dreaming about me instead? What's your dreaming when you cry yourself to sleep? Are you still dreaming of me? All the secrets that you keep, what's the difference? What's your thinking? How lonesome it must be. Unfold yourself to me. I can promise you relief. Didn't I beg and bought it? Didn't I bounce back up from the bottom? Didn't I beg my baggage and bury my bones to be walked to the paper out tomorrow? I've been thinking how lonesome it must be. Unfold yourself to me. I can promise you relief. What you're dreaming when you lay down in your bed on the demons. Are you dreaming about me instead? What you're thinking when you cry yourself to sleep? Are you still dreaming of me? All the secrets that you keep. Didn't I bet and bother? Didn't I bounce back up from the bottom? Didn't I beg my baggage and bury my bones to be walked to the river of tomorrow? Unfold yourself to me. Unfold yourself to me. Unfold yourself to me. Unfold yourself to me.
I don't think we have time. I mean, what time is it? What time is it? $2:14. We're supposed to be done by 2:15. We don't really have a 1-minute song. Pardon? I can't hear you. 2-minute song? I know. Okay. There's a very serious meeting happening right now. And I'll be back in a second. We will not be doing another song. Sadsies. Time waits for no man. I just came up with that. Someone write that down. Time waits for no man. That just came to me. Rodeo. If you are interested, you can find us on the social medias. Manor Park Collective is the @ If you wanted to look at that, you could. Actually, you have to. So, yeah. I'm a marketing genius.
I'm on my way to wellness. Then, some days I find that somehow I'm heading in the wrong direction again, even though I've been doing my best to reroute my brain to have different responses to stress in my life. Having a substance use disorder was never a conscious choice I made. They tell me it could be the result of trauma or genetics or something else. All I know is that I struggle to stop taking substances despite the negative consequences. Of course, I want to have a better life, but I don't know how long it will take me to get there, or exactly what it will look like. I'm just finding out some of the challenges I have. I know that some people make changes faster than others, and that each person's wellness looks different. Some people seem to get to their wellness place and stay there. Others come and go as their life unfolds. Me, I keep hitting roadblocks on my way there. Sometimes I head in the completely wrong direction and need a full U-turn. Many people have stopped helping me when I do. If only they remembered that addiction is a medical condition that affects my brain and decision-making. And if only I remembered, I could hold a steadier path. That's one of the challenges I face. I want to reach my place of wellness as much as they want me to get there. I know that life there will be less unpredictable for me and for them, but telling me that I have to get there by a certain time or by a certain route doesn't help. Imposing a deadline for arrival doesn't mean I'll meet it. It just gives people a false sense of control and makes me wonder why they have criteria for showing compassion to a person with a medical condition. I don't tell anyone who is ill what time they should get well by. I just hope they do and try to help them however they need help now. I've seen people stopping to help drivers with a flat tire or an empty tank of gas. They stayed until help arrived to be sure the driver was safe and could get back on the road. There was no judgment or disappointment about driving over a nail or running out of gas. I wish people would do the same for me when I hit bumps that slow me down or lose steam along the way. I wish people understood that finding my pathway to wellness will take me a lot longer if I'm walking alone.